Hello, beautiful souls. It's Sylvia Worsham. Welcome to Focus Fridays and welcome to the segment on Transform Fear to Joy. And what prompted this whole video this week was my actual fear of writing chapter 12 for my book. I did not want to do it. I was avoiding it like crazy. I kept revising all my other chapters except starting chapter 12. And chapter 12 is it's a very critical time in my life. It's transitioning from corporate world to stay-at-home parent, and I am going through a major identity crisis. I have no idea who I am, what I believed, what I thought would bring me happiness for the first 20 plus years of my life didn't. I got there and I didn't have the fulfillment I was looking for. And then a series of events happen, and I find myself now being a stay-at-home parent, pregnant with my second child, and I'm 40 years old. And it's a very difficult time in my life. I was not used to that transition, and I had a lot of fears. I lived in certainty. I wanted to know the outcome of my everyday. I planned for everything. I was the consummate perfectionist. And I ended up in therapy. And in therapy, I have a wonderful therapist who recommends The Gifts of Imperfection by Brené Brown. And I started reading it, and I now understand why she has me read this book. And the first thing that I will share with you, the very first applicable tip, is to face your fear. In my case, what that looks like is to start writing chapter 12. And I started writing it 3 days ago. I finally just said, I gotta face my fears. I gotta trudge through whatever's inside of me that's not in alignment with my soul. And I'm glad I did, because now I start to see on my pages what God taught me, and I can now apply that in my life today to seek and be in constant joy, because joy is in moments. It's not a state of being. It's something that you can have when you choose it over fear. Now, what happens with your fear is it shows up differently for everybody. For me, I just escaped into empty distractions this week. I did everything else, like a flurry of activity, except the chapter 12. That's how it showed up for me. How does it show up for you? And that's one thing you must and need to ask yourself, because only you can answer that particular question for you. The second tip I will share with you is practice gratitude. What do I mean by practicing gratitude? It's not having an attitude of gratitude. I think most people think, well, that's all I need is to have an attitude of gratitude. Practicing gratitude is actually putting pen to paper, or standing in front of your mirror and doing the mirror work of saying to your unconscious mind, I am grateful for, in my case, I am grateful for my beautiful family. I am grateful for the health in my life. I am grateful for my relationship with Christ. I am grateful for. Or write it down. There's a lot of people out there that have gratitude journals. Erin Condren here in Austin, Texas. Lots of gratitude journals you can choose from. They're wonderful because you can jot things down daily. And you can create the practice of being grateful through the gratitude journal. The last tip I'll leave you with is simply this. You can get to joy a lot faster when you have a relationship with God. That's getting to it faster. I got to joy faster in my life because I had a very close relationship with God. I turned to Him for guidance daily. Like, this is a daily occurrence. Now, for me, it shows it how I do this. I do it in meditation. I do it through my journaling. I do it through my writing. I sometimes am driving in the car and I start talking to myself, to the point where my daughter, who's sitting behind me, she's 6, she's in her booster chair or whatever. And she's like, Mom, are you talking to yourself? At which I respond, actually, no, I'm not talking to myself. I am talking to Jesus, who's sitting next to me. Sounds ridiculous for some people, but it's my very close relationship with God. And I get my answers. I get to the light faster instead of living in the darkness of fear and staying stuck in my circumstances. You have choices every day. You can choose very differently, but it's up to you. What do you want? Do you want to stay stuck in your circumstances, in your fearful circumstances, in your perfectionism, in your need to know in certainty and security of what's going to happen in your life before transition occurs? I mean, is that how fear shows up for you? But once again, you have a choice. You can face your fears. You can practice gratitude daily, and you can have a very strong and close relationship with God, who will lead you to your light, to the joy in your life. I'm Sylvia Worsham, your host of Focus Fridays. Thank you so much for tuning in to this week. Transform fear to joy. Have a wonderful week. Stay safe. Love you all. Bye now.